Like Zoink Scoob, I'm in shaggy colours again, but hello there, I am Mouldy. Didn't we all enjoy that Andor Season 2 trailer? The show looks absolutely incredible. So, I had to build the TIE Avenger that showed up not once, not twice, I think like at least 3 times throughout the trailer. This is built using the 2020 TIE cockpit as a base. We don't see too clearly the cockpit of the TIE Avenger, and whilst it is a little bit different, I wanted to focus on getting these wings and making this, of course, as close to Minifigure Scale as I could. Because here on the channel, we like to compare ship sizes and see how big this TIE Avenger actually is. And stay to the end, because this thing's a lot longer than it looks, even when I turn it on its side. But you know what? I cannot wait. Let's see how it sizes up right now. And I think we're going to start with some other Imperial TIE vessels. So we've got the TIE Fighter on the left, the TIE Avenger in the middle, and Vader's TIE Advance over on the right hand side. Vader's TIE Advance definitely the smallest of the lot. The TIE Fighter seems a lot bigger than you might think it is, especially when we see it on our screens. Flipping it on the side, you can see that wing is almost double the size of the Avenger. I'd say almost triple the size even of Vader's TIE. You can see the wings are the same as the bomber over here. And then we've got the Avenger, which is double the length of the TIE Fighter and Vader's Advance. It's an absolutely massive model, at least in its length, and I think it will probably hold up to some of the other Rebel vessels as well. So let's get rid of these TIE Fighters and take a look at the other ships that it will be seen on screen next to, and I'm sure we'll probably see a few of these throughout Andor Season 2. We've got the X-Wing, we've got the TIE Avenger, again, that one's not leaving. And then the A-Wing. The A-Wing looks tiny. The A-Wing is probably about the length of the TIE Interceptor. So you can see it's definitely not going to be anywhere near the length of the TIE Avenger. But what I really think is interesting is the TIE Avenger almost, you know what, it's not far off the length of this X-Wing. I'm not sure if this X-Wing is perfectly 1/45 scale, but I know it's approximately the size that an X-Wing would be compared to this. And I'm surprised at just how long the TIE Avenger is. Let's bring back that A-Wing and see if we can get a good side-by-side comparison of just how short the model is. You can see a TIE Interceptor would end around about here, maybe go on a little bit further back. But this TIE Avenger is 2 TIE Interceptors stuck back to back and absolutely puts the A-Wing to shame in terms of length. And speaking of length, let's go with the smallest models I have that are 1/45 minifigure scale, and that is speeders. I don't think you can really get much smaller than speeders unless someone shows up with a board like Back to the Future. Here's Han's and Luke's land speeder. Compared to the TIE Avenger, they didn't stand a chance. And what this makes me think about is Kylo Ren's TIE from The Force Awakens. It's very similar to the front, and having this take inspiration from Vader's TIE, there's definitely some connection to be made. But we're going to hop back to the Imperials just for 1 second. This is a 1/45 scale AT-ST. We've got, again, the TIE Avenger. And then my most recent Imperial mock, this landing craft, which does have a full interior, and you can check out the video for more information on that. But it's even the length of this landing craft. It's the height of an AT-ST's legs, which is terrifying enough. But side by side, it's pretty much the length of the Imperial landing craft as well as the X-Wing. So I guess the landing craft isn't too far off of the Rebel Alliance X-Wings. And you can see together they take up the entire width of the screen. So I'm very happy that I'm working with my longer desk. A year ago, I'd have struggled to fit either of these models on. Well, maybe not a year ago, maybe a few years ago. But last but not least, I also have some Jedi craft. We've got the Eaters, and we couldn't have the Eaters without the Deltas. They're very, very small. They're so much smaller than this TIE. In fact, compared to a lot of the different TIE vessels, they do come up pretty small. The 2 of them back to back is just over the length of the wings here on the TIE Avenger. So the Eater is probably just under half the length of the TIE Avenger, and the Delta is just over, the Delta being the longer out of the 2. But that just goes to show how long this ship is, and to fit this in a hangar, yeah, I don't think the Imperials were making a load of these models. So if Andor manages to steal the only TIE Avenger model they have, that could explain why we don't see it again in Star Wars. But the TIE Avenger has shown up before in Star Wars. Andor is giving it its canonical debut, which is really, really nice to see, because Rogue One itself gave us a few different TIE variants, and pretty much every Disney Star Wars show cannot go a few seasons without giving us another variant of TIE, and honestly, I am all here for it. If you've stuck around a while here on the channel, you'll probably know one of my first Lego Star Wars sets, my first big Lego Star Wars set after the Battle Packs and Land Speeders, is this 2012 TIE Fighter, which is not only 1/45 minifigure scale. I know, absolutely mind-blowing to know some of the older sets also add up to minifigure scale, but is also a really solid model, and I think it's those big panels in the wings. Last year we turned the TIE Bomber into Vader's TIE Advance, which whilst having very similar wings, if not the same wings to the Bomber, the cockpit is very, very different. And this goes for a lot of the TIE Fighter sets. You can build almost every variation with just the one set. I know what I'm going to be spending my time doing next time Lego release a TIE Fighter. Flying back to this TIE Avenger, there are instructions up on the members Discord if you do want to join the higher brick tier, which does get you all the instructions, by the way, for the full month. So make sure you download any that you're going to want to build after your subscription ends. But every single month we make a few more mocks, and there are a ton of other things you can do over on the Discord. Don't forget to sync your YouTube and Discord, for all other information is shown to you when you hit that join button. Not only does this TIE Avenger use the cockpit from that 2020 TIE, but the wings are built using exactly every single piece from that set. And I'm not counting spare pieces. If you have the actual TIE Fighter still on your display, because it's a pretty small and compact TIE Fighter, I'm not going to get you to route your parts bins for spares. I would have no idea where to begin. It actually uses only the pieces from the wings. Every single stud is used into making this as accurate and as sleek as possible. And I must say, even if I am complimenting my own work here, it does look really, really sleek and as powerful as we saw in the Andor trailer. That was absolutely obliterating all the stormtroopers in that hangar. And for that reason, we've got 2 blasters on each of the wings right here at the front. Not only that, but I've used some snot techniques and out of system, really put my maths knowledge to work on this model to get some of the angles for these wings. I looked at this model as if I was building a TIE Interceptor, which I have originally built using the exact same Lego set, and then flipped it so we had the exact same coming the other way. Not only are the wings both the same, well, I guess symmetrical to each other, but the wings front and back also share that same line of symmetry, which is really fun, even though you're building 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of the same triangular shapes. It's fun enough that it doesn't feel too repetitive, which can't be said about other sets like the Eiffel Tower. That looks like it's a lot of work. So again, if you did want to build this yourself before Andor Season 2 comes out, definitely consider becoming a member and joining the channel. Thank you to everyone that is already a member and going that extra step further to support. But fear not, I hope to have instructions up on Rubricable soon for just that one set fee. Rubricable and Studio, nothing against them. I'm just finding it really hard to use Studio since that last update. If anyone else does use Studio, you know exactly what I mean with all the round pieces. But the cockpit of this Lego set is spacious enough to fit a little Cassian Andor minifigure, who definitely is going to be stealing one of these. And again, I said it in my video when we looked at the Andor Season 2 trailer, which I'll leave on the end screen if you haven't watched yet. I'd love to get this as an actual Lego set. Are there any other ships you think are going to appear in Andor that you'd love to see built? Because I am getting ready for those Andor mocks. As soon as that show hits, I'm sure we'll be starting that back up, just like we did for Bad Batch, for Ahsoka, and now for Andor Season 2. And I know I've already done a video talking about Lego sets I would like to see, but I also think this is a great opportunity, again, for a Star Wars CMF line. We know it's possible, nothing to do with Hasbro. Marvel already have to, and I have countless videos now speaking about this subject. In fact, I've just made my own Droid Star Wars CMF, so I'll leave that video with the Andor trailer reaction or breakdown or just talking video on the end screen for you. But if we got a Star Wars CMF, we could include some Andor minifigures. So far, we only have Cassian, Luthen, and Cyril. So we could definitely, oh, and I guess we have Saw Gerrera from the anniversary minifigures as well, but we definitely need Mothma, and I guess it's mainly Mothma I would like, but the whole crew from Andor. We could get 6 minifigures alongside 6 from Visions, also coming out in May, drop in this June in a CMF, 6 from Andor, 6 from Visions. Even if they use the old figures from Visions, we could get the Ronin and the droid from the Ronin, the twins. I bet they'd look really, really cool in minifigure form. But speaking of Star Wars CMFs, though, Andor would work really, really well with this tie. Of course, Lego are going to give us another Lego Stormtrooper. We have to build our Imperial army somehow. And they're not the only 2 minifigures I think Lego should include in a set like this. We normally get a droid, and for this special occasion, I have created the perfect Minifigure Scale Gonk droid, which I think looks really, really cool. You can see it's not built like any of the other Gonk droids. There's a lot of snot and bracket connections to make up this Gonk, but this is in fact 145 minifigure scale, just like the tie, and there will be instructions to all members on the Discord to build this Gonk if you need that help in hand. But I think this looks really, really cool, and another Imperial tie would be the perfect. We just got an update to the Gonk in the TIE Bomber. I think we could get a really snazzy looking Gonk droid with this set. That is, if Lego were to release something like this later on this year. But I am hoping we get at least 2 sets from Andor. We only got the one from season 1, and as far as other shows have seen, Bad Batch for instance, we got the Marauder in season 1. Pretty sure the Justifier come out for season 2, and in season 3 we were left with nothing because Bad Batch was wrapping up. And I fear that Lego worry that when Andor wraps up season 2 and meets with Rogue One, they'll probably be able to get a Rogue One set out of it, but the hype around Andor might not stay around as long as they hope. As far as we're aware, there's no other show that we are waiting on, so Andor might be all we've got for the next couple of months, in which case I'm sure there'll definitely be a Lego set out later this year. But once Andor's up and the story is complete and they've wrapped it up, there's not going to be much interest in the character or the storylines for the majority of the Star Wars fans, and therefore the Lego Star Wars fans as well. But don't you worry, I will be supplying the mocks. Hopefully for every episode we can go back to doing weekly mocks when the show is coming out. If you like the sound of that, make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss out, and thank you so much to everyone who's watching these videos all the way through. I understand the videos recently have been very, very long, and daily uploads is a lot to keep up on, but I hope you're enjoying. Smash like, execute Order 66 on that like button for more content like this, and may the bricks be with you always.